There's drama in La La Land between Jeanie Buss and LeBron James. I'm going to tell you why they both need to go. Also, we got the top 5 Lakers trade candidates. We're going to preview the Lakers-Clippers matchup. Is LA a pretender or a contender this season? Also, we're looking ahead to the NFC Championship game where the Rams head up to Seattle to take on the Seahawks, one win away from another Super Bowl appearance. I'm going to tell you who has the position-by-position advantage. We're going to go through the key matchups. The UCLA Bruins get their biggest win in a long time, upsetting number 4 Purdue. We'll hear from McKain and him calling out the Big Ten. And are the Dodgers the most unstoppable 1 through 4 ever? We'll tell you about Kyle Tucker's press conference from yesterday. That's coming up next on the LA Sports Report.
LA is the sports capital of the world. The Lakers have entered their Luka Doncic era. LeBron doesn't just want a farewell tour, he wants a farewell title. The Rams are going to win the Super Bowl. Go, Kings, go. The Dodgers are the best run franchise in all of professional sports. Shohei Ohtani is the GOAT. Steve Ballmer will do anything to get the Clippers a championship. McKain has to win a national championship at UCLA. Justin Herbert is a top 5 quarterback in this league. College football is just better when USC is good. This whole city has the Mamba mentality. I love LA.
Live from the heart of Los Angeles, this is the LA Sports Report with your host, Doug McKain.
What is up, and welcome to another episode of the LA Sports Report. My name is Doug McKain. Covered LA sports for over a decade. I'm loyal to the soil. That's why we started this show. It's about all LA sports. The only show that's doing this. Dodgers, Lakers, Rams, Chargers, UCLA, USC, Go Kings, Go, LAFC, the Sparks, the Galaxy. I might do a Raiders topic this week. Might talk about the Angels this week. So we're doing all LA sports. So if you're new to the show, subscribe, hit the notification bell, drop a like, drop a comment. The comments have been very active of late, so we'll definitely hit those after every single topic. I want to hear what you guys have to say. We got BDR with us, Big Dog Rob producing the show as always. His Clippers in action. We'll talk about the Clip show and the Lakers. But this was just one of those typical LA weeks for the Lakers. This is one of those weeks where if you're a Lakers fan, you say, because you are in the news for the right reasons. You're in the news for the wrong reasons. And it's one of those weeks where, you remember the show Winning Time, where the people were saying, no, that show is too unrealistic. It's an HBO show. There's no way that could be real. There's no way there's that much drama with the Lakers. This week made the show Winning Time look like it was a reality TV show. And that's what the Lakers really are. Is there this living, breathing reality TV show with Jeanie Buss, LeBron James, the whole cast of characters, and ESPN, they dropped a bombshell report about Jeanie Buss and the infighting with the Lakers that drove the $10 billion sale of the Lakers. It was written by Baxter Holmes. It is juicy. There are some very scathing details that we're going to talk about in this one. And we'll start at the very top. So the Lakers, they did sell to the Guggenheim Group, Mark Walters and company. They're the new primary owners of the Lakers. And it starts by saying the Lakers were 15 games into the season and playing well with 11-4 record. The team's sale to Mark Walter was official at a $10 billion valuation. They had closed nearly 3 weeks prior in late October. While leadership changes are often given in any such transaction, this timing seemed off. Why now? Why had they done what they had done? And this is after Jeanie Buss had called for the firing of her brothers. It says Jesse, a Lakers co-owner and the team's assistant general manager, quickly texted back to Jeanie 1 minute later that his brother Joey, a fellow co-owner, called Joey, the team's vice president of research and development, had received a similar text from McCormick followed by a call. McCormick told Joey he was being fired immediately, and so was his brother. So she took the job and she completely cleaned house. And the rest of the juicy nuggets in this are she grumbled about LeBron James and his, quote, outsized ego. She felt that Clutch had exerted too much control over the Lakers. She didn't see how LeBron was considered a savior of the franchise. She accused LeBron of having a lack of accountability over the Lakers trading for Russell Westbrook. She privately talked about not giving him a contract extension or even the possibility of trading him to the Clippers. She felt like LeBron wasn't grateful that the Lakers had drafted Bronny James. She basically was begrudgingly willing to give him a contract extension, and she felt like that was a bad PR hit, and she didn't want to do it. So just so much jam-packed into this piece. There's so many scathing details that reaffirm, if you're a Lakers fan, how excited that you are that the Buss family is going to be gone from the Lakers. And she did negotiate that position to have this job for 5 years, to be the governor of the Lakers, whatever she wants to call it. And the truth is that people that want Jeanie Buss to resign or get fired, they're not really paying attention. They sold the Lakers to Mark Walter because she had a great working relationship with him. He's not going to fire her just because of an ESPN article about things that were present that were a reason that the team was ultimately sold in the first place. She has a contract to be there for 5 years. So unless she chooses to step down, she's most likely not going to get fired next year. And it might end up being a role that she has as governor that is a little more in the shadows than it originally was supposed to be, but she's going to keep it for now. So the piece would say things that I think is going to be tough for her to be on public. It really is. It says about the relationship that she had with her brothers, that there was jealousy and infighting. It had been a staple of the siblings for years. Many around the Lakers told ESPN that Jerry Buss was, quote, the glue that was holding a broken family together. Quote, we involved attorneys so we can understand what the trust says, Jim said in the series. Said Johnny, we were trying to figure it out. Well, is Jeanie the absolute dictator of the Lakers? Jeanie's lawyers filed a temporary restraining order against her brothers and a lawsuit. She ended up winning that, with three siblings, Jeanie, Jesse, and Joey, agreeing for her to serve as controlling owner while Jim resigned from his role as a co-trustee. It says, from that point on, I've probably talked to Jeanie and 4 or 5 times. And that's sad. She would say that she told her brothers that she wished they were never born. Things like that. Really dark stuff, like really, really dark stuff. And look, you fight with your siblings all the time. It happens. You say some regrettable things that you don't mean, but it says it's clear. It's not clear when Jeanie learned about the promise between Joanne and her father, but when she spoke over the phone with Jesse, with knowledge of it, marked as a sharp pivot from the topic of the Anthony Davis news conference, she brought it up. Given that promise between her mother and her father, Jeanie told Jesse, you should have never been born. Jesse processed the words, according to 3 people briefed on the call, you should have never been born. So it says the damage was done. The pain was there, and there's just so much drama. There's jealousy, there's infighting, there's all this stuff. And the truth of the matter is this, is Jerry Buss was a great owner. Jerry Buss had the vision to make the Lakers what they ultimately became, which is Showtime. It transcended just a great team winning championships. It was entertainment at the highest level in sports. He started the Laker girls and having cheerleaders like that, the celebrities sitting courtside. The Lakers just being an international brand, from Magic Johnson to Kareem to all the stars that they were able to either draft, trade for, sign. That was the vision of Jerry Buss. But I think Jerry Buss's fatal flaw, what Dr. Buss failed to realize, was that he had 6 children that could not run a team together. He thought that his 6 children could run an NBA team together, but he didn't take into account jealousy, the egos, the different value, and the levels of work ethic that they had, and whether or not that was in them to run a team. And Jeanie was the most savvy of the bunch, and not all Nepo hires are bad, but that's what we're seeing here. It's Jeanie, Nepo baby, Buss. And the truth of the matter is she thinks that LeBron is taking too much credit. She's thinking that LeBron is viewing himself as the savior. Jeannie's acting like she was dropping 27, 7, and 7 and was the reason why they got Anthony Davis, and which is the reason why they got Luka Doncic. The truth is, he was the savior. It's not like they were doing any winning in the decade before he showed up to save this franchise. And was that because of Jeanie Buss? No. Jeanie Buss owning the Lakers had zero impact on LeBron signing with the Lakers. Magic Johnson running the Lakers had zero impact on LeBron signing with the Lakers. It just so happened that LeBron was at a stage of his life where he was trying to continue to build his brand, which he did very successfully, mind you. Filmed Space Jam 2, The Barbershop, The Shop on HBO, Springhouse Entertainment, all the business ventures with Maverick Carter and Rich Paul. All that was a massive success, and a lot of that had to do with him moving to LA, being friends and rubbing shoulders with studio executives, and him establishing his empire out here in a city where people as famous as LeBron James can coexist. And he can raise his family where they can go to Sierra Canyon, and then ultimately Bronny James goes to USC and Bryce James goes to Arizona and they live in Brentwood. Of course it made sense. Had nothing to do with Jeanie Buss. So the truth is, he did save the franchise. And was that LeBron James doing that for the Lakers out of charity? No. LeBron James is always going to do what's best for LeBron James. This is kind of how I look at it. When someone goes into a burning building and rescues someone, it's great. Yeah, they're doing it because they're a hero, because they want to save that person, right? But LeBron James, he went to that burning building, saved that person, but also got rewarded hundreds and millions of dollars for it. Let me ask you, would you go into a burning building and try to save someone if the reward of that is hundreds of millions of dollars? The answer is probably yes, right? You would take that risk. So look, the truth is, it's not a bad thing either. Is it worked out for LeBron? But this does not mean that they're not in some ways also trying to manipulate the situation in some capacity, because they certainly are. I mean, Clutch did get too much control of the Los Angeles Lakers. I'll give you a perfect example. Before the Lakers got Anthony Davis, let's call it what it is. Let's be honest about this. He was faking an injury with the New Orleans Pelicans. He was, okay? And had he just gone Lakers, they could have kept their assets. They would have been better in the long run. Instead, because of LeBron James and him not wanting to play with that young core, him being impatient, Clutch, they ultimately were the reason why that move was made. So yeah, sure. Clutch wasn't perfect. Jeanie Buss has been, I think, forgettable as an owner, or beyond that as a governor. What I want to see in this situation is when both get ejected. Like, I want both gone, a fresh start for the Lakers. There's just way too much drama. It's completely unnecessary. No one should ever really talk about owners for the most part. And the truth is that Jeanie Buss has mostly been a failure at her job. And to be honest, I think she's a snake. I really do. Like, she released a statement And she didn't come back or defend herself for the most part, but she did deny a lot of it, which is somewhat classy. She released a statement through The Athletic where she said that it was through The Athletic and Sam Mick, quote, "It's really not right given all the great things LeBron has done for the Lakers that he has to be pulled into my family drama. To say that it wasn't appreciated is just not true and completely unfair to him." Okay, so what? Baxter Holmes is making stuff up. Do you want us to believe that? Because what happens when someone in power has all this power? Who does she trust? She trusted her friends. And I think that is where she ultimately failed as an owner, is because she treated her friends, Linda Rambis, Kurt Rambis, all those people in her inner circle. She treated her friends like they were family, and she treated her family like they were foes. And that is where the issue was. Think about this. Linda Rambis got $24 million from the sale of the Lakers. It says here, quote, "Jeanie's inner circle stood to receive substantial bonuses from the sale. One person with knowledge of the event said that people included Linda Rambis, Kurt Rambis, Grigsby, McCormick, and Harris, the team's president of business operations. Linda Rambis stood to pocket $24 million, the same as the McCormicks, Grigsby, and Harris. Kurt, meanwhile, stood to make $8 million. The figures were a nod of all things to Kobe Bryant, who wore the numbers 24 and 8 during his 20-year Lakers career." You've got to be absolutely kidding me. And then here's the thing on top of that. When she's saying what she did about Russell Westbrook, and it says she didn't like that James was considered a savior for a founding franchise when he arrived in 2018, and that it was he who chose the Lakers rather than the team's leadership receiving praise for landing him. Team sources have been adamant for years that James's camp informed the Lakers as early as 2017 that he was coming to join them when he became a free agent the following year. The distance between Jeanie and James widened after the Lakers traded for Russell Westbrook in July of 2021. People close to the team said that the team had made the trade in an effort to appease James, but the acquisition backfired in catastrophic fashion. LA went 33-49 and missed the playoffs, and James seemed to wash his hands of his role in the acquisition. So let me get this straight. Jeanie Buss is mad at LeBron James because a player that he pushed to trade for did not work out. So you mean to tell me that she's empowering LeBron James and Anthony Davis to make roster decisions? Let's compare that to the Los Angeles Dodgers. Do you think that Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, and even Shohei Ohtani are knocking on their president of baseball operations, Andrew Friedman's door with a list of players that they want them to trade for or sign? Hell no. Even Shohei Ohtani, who's deferred 97% of his contract, he's not giving them lists of players that he wants them to sign. He just knows that they're great at their job and that the more resources and the more financial flexibility and freedom that they have, that the players they do pick are probably going to help this team, right? They would laugh at Dodgers players that were pushing to sign them. So just the whole general idea that a front office organization will let any of its players, even ones as with the stature of LeBron James, dictate the type of players that you have a broken organization. Like the inmates are running the asylum there. You can't have that. So look, I mean, Jeanie Buss, to say that about her brothers, to say that about LeBron James, I can't wait till both of them are gone eventually, because I'm ready for a new chapter, a new era of Lakers basketball where we're never going to talk about the owner again. We're just going to talk about the players and what they do on the court, not what they do off the court, because she's a little like Jerry Jones, where you could tell she like eats up this stuff. Like you could tell that even though she's in the headlines for the wrong reasons, that there's a part of her that probably likes the fact that people are talking about her again. I mean, Datesville Jackson is overly involved in the team, makes bad decisions. So Yeah, I'm ready for Jeanie, Nepo, Baby Bus to be gone. And I think that, look, Jerry Buss, great owner, but the truth is he made a bad decision in that the Buss family, the kids, they were always going to have to eventually sell the team because the way that he set up the trust, it stipulated the Lakers would go to his last living child unless the majority voted to sell their shares. So guess what? Who's to blame for all this? As much as I love you, Jerry Buss, and you gave me some of my happiest memories watching the Lakers as a kid, putting together this team, this organization, Jerry Buss is to blame for all of this. He truly is, because the way that he set it up, it pitted his kids against his kids. The older brothers tried to sell years ago, and then they would get their cut. Jimmy gave out bad contracts to sink the Lakers to force a sale. When that didn't work out, they were fired, and they tried to coup that fired as well. So yeah, we're ready to be done with that. Now, as far as the comments here, we got Muad'Dib. Oh, I like that. D-Mac is bussing right now. What up, Muad'Dib? Oh, you like the fit too? Yeah, you know, shout out to friends over there. We got BC spring training after the Rams. Okay, I like that. Jeanie has been in over her head for a long time. Yeah, that's the best way to describe it. It's just like, it's not even, to me, it's like a boring thing in the sense that like no one cares anymore about Jeanie Buss. I mean, Jerry Buss bought the Lakers for $67.5 million, and look what they sold for. And no one talks about Jack Kent Cook, right? Because he was the owner before that. I mean, you think about the team, you don't think about the owners, you think about the players, right? I mean, when have you ever worn a Jerry Buss jersey or a George Steinbrenner jersey, right? You don't. It's always been, and it always will be about the players and the fans. Just cut the damn check, go the hell home. We don't care what you have to say. That should be your role, Jeanie, okay? All right, switching gears here. Hey, let's talk about the Lakers. This is a big Lakers show. It's going to be a Let's Go Lakers. Here we go. Question now is, are the Lakers pretenders or contenders? And when I wake up at 3:30 in the morning in a cold sweat and I'm staring at the fan, I wonder, are the 2025-2026 Lakers a team that has a puncher's chance? That if they get a ticket to the dance, that maybe they can win a round or two in the playoffs? Can you get to the Western Conference Finals? Well, the Lakers are a team that we know what they look like against bad teams. We also know what they look like against good teams. And they stacked up a lot of wins against bad teams early on. They haven't won very many games against good teams, but still, considering that Austin Reeves has missed significant time, considering that LeBron missed the beginning of the season, considering that Luka Doncic is still integrating himself into a new organization, a new city, JJ Redick's in his second year, they're 26-16, and they're the 5th seed in the Western Conference. Now, if they go on a losing streak, they could fall out of the playoffs altogether because it's a pretty tight race. They're 9.5 games behind the Thunder in the Western Conference. You got the Thunder, the Spurs, the Nuggets, and the Rockets all ahead of them. But I think the thing with the Lakers is this, is they're just kind of an average to an above average team. They're 16th in the NBA in net rating at minus 0.5. They've been outscored by their opponents this entire season. Now, net rating, it's not the only statistic that matters, but it's a pretty decent indicator tally of the season. And it points to the Lakers being close to the league average, then up there with the Thunder and the Spurs, the Nuggets, teams like that. In fact, the Lakers, they're in between the Atlanta Hawks and the Orlando Magic when it comes to net rating. So that's not the only one you're going to use for a pretender-contender argument, but it gives you an idea of where they're at. I think the plus side of the Lakers, if I want to talk myself into the 2026 Lakers, it's that with LeBron James on the court and Luka Doncic on the court and Austin Reeves on the court, we don't have a true understanding of what that trio looks like for an extended run. But they are a bad defensive team. They're 21st overall in NBA team defense. I think it's this. It's like it's tough to take the Lakers very seriously as a contender right now. Could that change? It could. They're on a pretty tough road trip. I mean, you got a pretty tough schedule coming up. But Luka Doncic still continues to play well. There are some things to feel good about in Lakerland. I hate the bad episode of Family Matters. I hate that drama. It is something that I think is becoming a distraction right now. But there are some other questions. I mean, do the Lakers have a fifth starter right now? Rui Hachimura shooting 43% from three-point range. The defense is bad. Marcus Smart, he gives you the best defensive effort on the floor, but his decisions on offense, they can be questionable at times. He takes way too many shots. He looks off the NBA's best scorer right now, Luka Doncic, who wants the ball. So there's Jake LaRavia, and we'll see what happens with him. So that's kind of the question. Do they have a fifth starter? Another thing to feel good about, Luka Doncic is an all-star. And then, how about Drew Timme? Two-way big, hit a 21-point game against the Blazers. Against the Raptors, he was really good. So I think the question right now, really, with the Lakers is, do they have enough belief in this team to trade assets to improve this roster? Because they're in a position where if you go to the offseason and Giannis is really going to get traded, you want to maximize all your resources to make it run at him. Because you put Giannis with Luka, it's game over. That team is going to, at the very least, contend for a title, but they could win a title. But I've got some quick names I'm going to throw your way if the Lakers want to go all in on this season. First name, Andrew Wiggins. Wiggins would accomplish a lot for this team. He's two-way, plays defense, and that's what I look at for this team. If you want to have Austin Reeves and Luka Doncic as your best scorers and have LeBron James close games, you're going to need some defensive stoppers. He has 1.2 steals per game, 1.1 blocks. You can also move with guys on the perimeter. So you look at the Heat kind of towards the bottom as far as playoff contenders in the East. But the Lakers, it's extremely painfully obvious they need a wing. Because if you don't have a wing, if you have a nasty matchup, you're not going to have a guy that can match up. The only negative to Wiggins is the price tag. It's kind of one of those guys, you go into the shop and you're like, oh, I like this, but I'm going to like sneak a peek at the price tag because you're like, this might be a little out of my price range. Because he $28.2 million is what he could be owed. And that's something where it's a pretty big swing because you got to match that salary with some significant assets. So you got to include Rui Hachimura in a deal. But the Lakers are serious about making a run through the West. That is the best upgrade right now because he's a two-way player. Can give you offense, can give you defense. He shoots 40.2% from beyond the arc, averages 15.8 points per game, 4.9 rebounds, 2.8 assists. I mean, imagine a guy that's a wing player shooting over 40%. So honestly, as crazy as it sounds, I would go for Andrew Wiggins, even if it means clearing some assets, because I just find it hard to imagine that Giannis is going to trade the Lakers. Number 2 would be Keon Ellis. I've been really high on Keon Ellis. I know, Robert, you're all about the Kings, right? I mean, you talk about playing with them on 2K, right? That's your squad, right?
I'm not all about them, but yeah.
You're not all about as a fan, but they're a fun squad. I mean, Russell Westbrook is actually their best player, which doesn't say much these days. But I think the thing about Keon Ellis that makes a lot of sense is I kind of want to see the Lakers make a deadline deal that's not this like massive splash player, right? Bad Kings team, and you look at the numbers, like, wait a second, 5.3 points per game, 1.3 rebounds, less than an assist, but it's the defense, the willingness to play defense. JJ Redick needs some younger, better defenders. He really does. Because JJ Redick, he is going full gray. He's like, Robert, he's like Obama, right? Like the first year to the last year.
Yeah.
When he went full gray. That's going to be JJ Redick by the end of his Lakers career. He needs guys like Keon Ellis, man. And shooting wise, it's not great. 38.4% from the field, 35.7% from beyond the arc. but he's an interesting player. I think the best thing about him is he would have a primary role for Lakers, and that is to guard the basketball, chase shooters around, blow up actions early in sets, just be a menace on defense. Have a guy that can collapse into a rotation and cause chaos. They really don't have. Marcus Smart kind of can do that, but he can't do that on a possession-by-possession basis. And Lakers have had way too many games this season where you just don't have a point-of-attack defender that can stop a offensive player in transition from getting a clear lane to the basket. I mean, you see it all season long. So, yeah, having a guy that can give you 16, 20, 25 minutes on the defensive end, that's cheap too, $2.3 million in salary, he'd be a great move if the Kings would be willing to do it. Now, another guy, how about Nick Claxton? Now, there were some reports that Michael Porter Jr. was on Lakers' radar, and I think that would be a whole other stratosphere deal because of how good he's been and what it would take to get him. But how about Nick Claxton? Because he's having a really good season. He's not just this lob threat anymore. He can play make a little bit. He's averaging almost 13 points per game, almost 8 rebounds, just over 4 assists per game. But it's the efficiency. Shoots over 50% from the field, 58.1%, can block shots. And he's a point center that brings energy in a different dynamic than DeAndre Ayton. And the Nets have made him available too. And then Nets and Lakers have been natural trade partners for the last decade plus. So the big issue with him is the cost, $25.4 million. You have to match that salary. The Nets are going to want something back, but the Lakers, they want a impact defender that can raise their ceiling. Claxton is one of the only real names on the front line that could be available because they're going to need it. Because DeAndre Ayton, so inconsistent. You never know what the motor is going to give you. Then you got Herb Jones, another great name. I mean, almost 10 points per game. Can play defense as well. Jonathan Kuminga, we've talked about pretty significantly on this show. And he's someone that with Jimmy Butler going down with a knee injury, could he be a name that you could get at a lesser rate? But bottom line, I don't think the Lakers are legitimate title contenders with the roster as constructed. They need to improve on the margins to give themselves a chance. The defense has been bad. They're good in clutch situations. But if they're serious about this season, they're going to make a move. If not, they're telling you that, hey, this season is about 3 things. Getting Luka comfortable in LA and with JJ Redick in this roster, getting LeBron James out, and 3, getting ready for a big move to pursue Giannis Antetokounmpo. Now, Lakers, Clippers tonight. We'll talk about this one. Lakers, Clippers is another game that is a road trip at Intuit Dome, 7 p.m., Prime Video. The Lakers beat the Nuggets. Yes, they didn't have 3 starters. Jokic was out, but still, the Lakers got to beat the Clippers. And the Clippers, they're playing some of their best basketball of the season. Now, give the Clippers some credit here. The Clippers have turned their season around. They went 6-21 their first 27 games. Then they went on this incredible stretch. They were 12-2 at one point, their next 14. But now the Clippers, they've surged. They've put together a really, really nice run. They've won 14 of their last 16 games. They beat the Lakers in their last matchup. Hey, turns out Chris Paul was the problem. He's sitting courtside at USC basketball games instead of helping the Clippers win. So 14 of 16 for the Clippers after starting 6-21. And the big difference is the offense. Their offense ranks 13th in the league. Kawhi Leonard has missed the last 3 games, but his production has been better. James Harden has been better. The team has been shooting better, especially from beyond the arc. So the Lakers should also give the Clippers a better fight than they did last time because Luka Doncic and DeAndre Ayton, they're going to play in this game. So that's going to be a big difference. As far as the injuries go, Austin Reeves, left calf strain. Adu Theo, right MCL strain. They're listed as out for the Clippers. Bradley Beal, he's out with that left hip fracture. Bogdanovic is out with left hamstring. Derek Jones Jr., right knee sprain. Chris Paul, not with the team. So funny how he's like still in the organization. And Kawhi Leonard is questionable with a left knee contusion. The season series between the Lakers and the Clippers at 1-1 this year. All right, Rob, who you got? BDR. Big. Hey, guys, that's what we got to call him. Someone in the comments gave you that nickname, so that's what we're rolling with.
Hey, okay. I'm
BDR. Big Dog Rob. I think like you got to get like a license plate, something with like movies and maybe that could be like your documentary. After you have a couple Oscar-winning movies, BDR. Big Dog Rob. But who you got tonight? Honest opinion. It's okay. We know where you're leaning.
Nah, I mean, look, man, the Clippers are on a hot streak, man. The Lakers are getting back at it. I think the Lakers are going to come at it hard, but I do, unfortunately, I got to give the slight edge to the Clippers tonight, man. Without a healthy Austin Reeves,
Oh, wow. What a surprise. BDR picks the Clippers. I mean, look, here's the thing. The other thing about this, it's such an important game tonight because you get a win tonight and then you start to talk about those tiebreakers. Lakers, like we talked about, 5th place in the Western Conference. This game has even more importance because if you win, you got that tiebreaker in sight. So this is just, especially with all the drama this week and everything that's transpired, it's going to be really good to talk about basketball and the Lakers once again. So, I mean, you never know with this Lakers team. They give 71 points to Denver in the first half, and then you allow them to score 36 points in the second half. So for this team, it's going to be about effort, and we'll see if Kawhi Leonard does play. But, hey, it's the Battle of L.A., the Intuit Dome. I'm sure there'll be a heavy contingency of Lakers fans. So it's going to be exciting tonight. A big win. I like Amazon Prime's coverage, though. I like Taylor Rooks. I don't know who else is on it, but I like Taylor Rooks. But no, Dirk's on it, right? What do you think about the Prime's coverage of the NBA? Because it's like there's NBA on every single channel. Prime's like one of like 50 channels and streaming services that carries the NBA now.
Yeah, Prime looks good. I actually like Peacock's coverage a lot.
Peacock is really good. I mean, it's first of all, the NBA on NBC theme just in general is going to clear. So, yeah, I'm with you on that. There's no doubt about that they've done a great job. I was pretty disappointed with the whole Michael Jordan thing. Like, I was so excited. Oh, Michael, like that was a complete bust. The whole Michael Jordan is going to be on it. And they just did basically a 1-hour interview and they just like cut it up. So that was definitely disappointing. But today is the anniversary, switching gears, talking about the Black Mamba. Today's the anniversary of Kobe and his 81-point game. Just an incredible performance. One of the greatest individual performances in not just NBA history, really basketball history. I mean, when you look at what Kobe was able to do that night and the fact that he needed to score those 81 points just for the Lakers to win that game, it was beyond impressive. And he did it with the flow of the game. He did it within the desperation. I mean, you have people out there that say Wilt's 100-point game is still more impressive because it's untouchable. It's 1-0-0. For me, I'm going Kobe's 81-point game. I think it's more impressive for a lot of different reasons. And I'm going to tell you exactly why. Why Kobe's 81-point game in 2006 was a more impressive performance than Wilt Chamberlain's 100-point game in 1962. And yes, I'm not one of those freaks, one of those conspiracy theorists that think that Wilt Chamberlain's 100-point game never happened. Pablo Torre did. They went through multiple radio broadcasts, and yes, there was no video footage of it, but it did happen, okay? Let's put that to rest. But let's ignore the fact that Wilt has 6 out of the top 10 single game scoring performances all time. Let's forget all that. Let's ignore the other positive things he did in that game. 25 rebounds. The first thing that you need to know about Kobe's 81 versus Wilt's 100 is the pace of play was very different in 1962 versus 2006. The Philadelphia Warriors shot 115 times in that game. 115 times to get Wilt to 100. By the way, they were like force feeding the ball to Wilt. He was playing a bunch of plumbers and dudes who were like not close to being as big and tall as he was. But his team shot 115 times. Kobe's Lakers shot 88 times that game. Both teams shot over the average shots per game that year, with the Lakers shooting 10% more than the league average, which is 79.7 shots per game that year. The Warriors shot 7% more, which is 107.7 shots per game. So both took more shots than we typically see in an NBA game. But when you look at the pace of play for the NBA overall, it was just totally different, because in that era, scoring was actually a lot higher. In that era, the average points per game for an NBA game in 1962 was 118 points. How wild is that? That was the average, 118 points. In 2006, the year that Kobe's dropped 81, the average NBA game, a team scored 97 points. So scoring was actually down. It actually was. Now, the quality of competition, too, was a lot higher in 2006 than it was in 1962. And Wilt, he scored 100 of 169 points that night. So his Warriors team scored 169 points that night. He scored 100 of them. So he scored 59.17% of his team's shots. He made, of the 63 of the 115 shots. And he made, and you look at where Kobe was, he scored 81 on 122 points. So that's 66% on 46 of 88 shots. And he made 28 of 42 shots at 66.67%. I'm not going to do it. 6'7". Not going to do it. But what that number proves to you, though, is that Kobe contributed more to his team's overall points on a less percentage of shots. The free throw side, that's a wash. They're pretty similar. Wilt made 65% of his team's free throws. Kobe made 64.3% of his team's free throws. But if you look at the adjusted Kobe to shot moments, it would have had to been a much bigger discrepancy there. So around 25% of Kobe's shots in the game were 3-pointers. And that's kind of the only thing that you could say for Wilt, is that they didn't have the 3-point line. But it's not like Wilt was going to be shooting a bunch of 3-pointers. So yeah, I mean, honestly, I would put Kobe's 62-point game in 3 quarters ahead of Wilt Chamberlain's 100-point game. I really would. And I'll never forget that Phil Jackson went over to Kobe and asked him if he wanted to stay in the game to say 70. And Kobe's like, nah, I'll get it a couple games later. And he ended up scoring 81 3 weeks later. So yeah, I got Kobe's 81 is a much more impressive performance than Wilt Chamberlain's 100. Wilt, they were trying to get him to 100. Kobe had to score that to get in the flow of the game. He did it in the flow of the game for several reasons. It's so much better. I mean, think about this. The Lakers trailed by 18 points in the third quarter of that game. He dropped a double nickel in the second half. He outscored his teammates by 40 points. He was 28 for 46 from the field, 7 for 13 from beyond the arc, made 18 of 20 free throws. By the way, I did cop the Kobe 81-point Nike Kobe ones today. 210 plus tax. I remember getting Kobe ones for 130 plus tax back in the day. But yeah, an incredible performance. It's tough to have that ahead of Shohei Ohtani's NLCS Game 4. We had 3 home runs and 10 strikeouts as a pitcher, but it's certainly in the conversation. What say you, BDR?
Yeah, I like the Kobe game was iconic. I watched that on TV back in the day for sure. But the Shohei one, yeah, that's like great modern history. It was a playoff moment too. So that is probably a little bit of a greater sports moment overall. But that being said, though, 81, second most. We saw it on camera. You know, that I know the 100-point game happened, but the fact that we were able to see this Kobe game, we saw it in real time, and it was during the era, it was in this prime. It was number 8. So yeah, go stuff.
Yeah, I mean, he played the modern era. Like, he really did. I gave you guys all the facts you need. I rest my credit. I'll drop the mic on that one. I proved it to you guys. Okay, I really did. Like, he 100% had the better game, and it was in the flow of the game, and Mamba for life. All right, got some comments here. Fire Rob Pelinka too, all because, fire Rob Pelinka too. All because he was Kobe's age. That's how he got the job. That's the thing too. Like, it's Nepo babies. It's, I knew this person, so I get this job. Everything about the Lakers is mom and pop. It's going to end very soon. Thank your lucky stars that Mark Walter and the Guggenheim Group own the Lakers now. We've got Ohtani, an Android. I'm convinced. Craig, we got Timmy as a good option off the bench. Snafu D-Mac owns the 1995 Jeanie Bus edition of Playboy. Okay, I'm kidding. You mean, come on. What is she, like, page 55 through 59? But no, I just played. Hey, Troll says, I still think trade Luka for Giannis if you can go 1-for-1. I just don't think Luka is that guy. I could not disagree with you more. Luka has more prime years left in him than Giannis Antetokounmpo. Giannis is dealing with that calf injury. We know what that means. That could mean an Achilles. No way, no how. Luka Doncic is the face of this franchise for the foreseeable future. Let's get both of them together. What was that one about the NBA footage? Mr. Classic, I'm sure the NBA has footage somewhere. Apparently they don't. We got Muad'Dib. Can we really count the Clippers, Chargers, and Angels at LA teams? It's all love, right? All right, switching gears. Just ram it. Let's talk some Rams. The game of the year. Rams, Seahawks. It's going to be electric. And I will say this. Whoever wins this Sunday between the Rams and the Seahawks is going to win the Super Bowl. You have the number 1 and number 2 teams going at it. The number 1 defense by the Seahawks and the number 1 offense for the Rams. The last 2 times you've had this matchup together was an overtime classic. And how about this statistic? When you've had the number 1 offense, the number 1 defense go up against each other in the NFL playoffs, teams are 17-17 in those games. It's going to come down to, I think, Sam Darnold, Matthew Stafford, Mike McDonald, Sean McVay, Puka Nacua, Jackson Smith, and Jigba. But who has the strengths at every position? And we're going to go through that today. Let's start with the quarterbacks. The last time Matthew Stafford played the Seahawks, he went off. 457 yards and 3 touchdowns. For Sam Darnold to produce like that, that would be something out of his character, out of his ability to have that kind of game. It would be a game of his life. And when you look at the Seahawks offense, they're not a team that wants to do that. They want to establish the run. They don't want to put the game in the hands of Sam Darnold. But I'm hoping the Rams defense can make it Halloween in January and have him seeing ghosts. Because the Rams are a team that knows how to turn them over. I mean, in the first matchup of the season, he had 4 interceptions. Last matchup, he played better. But that's where I look at the next matchup. So quarterback, this one's easy. Matthew Stafford's going to win the MVP this year. When you have the MVP and a guy that's 7-2 in the playoffs and a guy that could be going through his last dance, he had a pretty bad time against the Chicago Bears. But is Matthew Stafford really going to have 2 straight bad games? I don't think he is. I think it's going to be a Matthew Stafford legacy performance. But just look at the throw he makes. I mean, he's going cross hash, throwing an out route to Devontae Adams outside the numbers on the far sideline. No look. Like, he does things that no quarterback in this league can do. I don't even think Patrick Mahomes can do the things that Matthew Stafford can do with his pure arm talent. So advantage Rams. Running backs is interesting because the Seahawks are going to be without Zach Charbonnet. He had a bad knee injury. He's going to get surgery. They have one running back on the roster in Kenneth Walker. He's their workhorse back. He was really good in week 16, had a 55-yard TD run, but he averages 60.4 yards per game in the regular season. Kyron Williams has been really good for the Rams all year. In the divisional round, he had 21 carries for 87 yards, had 2 touchdowns. And for most of the game, he was averaging almost 5 yards per carry. And he also someone that can contribute in the passing game. He had 4 catches for 30 yards. And he also had Blake Corum, who did a better job as a blocker. So you can see Blake Corum in there. Got to give the advantage to the Rams on that one. Kenneth Walker III, a good running back, has some explosive plays against the Rams, but the Rams have a 2-headed monster in Kyron and Blake Corum. You also have Kevin Dotson, your best run-blocking offensive lineman back. So I give the edge to the Rams in that one. Wide receivers. I think this one's pretty close because I think you can make the case that Jackson Smith and Jigba is the most productive wide receiver in the NFL this year. But the Rams held him without a catch in the first half in their Week 16 matchup. So they've shown the ability to at least contain him. And you have Cooper Kupp. Have you seen Cooper Kupp's hair, by the way? Cooper Kupp, he's got that 90s grunge haircut. He's looking like Coop Cobain up there in Seattle doing his best Nirvana impression. Well, look, you got Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams. The advantage goes to the Rams. It really does. Now, you want to see Devontae have a better day. He had 2 catches for 24 yards. The Rams, I think, need to consider Tutu Atwell and Jordan Whittington and Xavier Smith and the rest of that group. But that one's a close one. I think tight end is a push. I think A.J. Bardner and Elijah Arroyo are 2 guys that can make plays for Sam Darnold. I'll give that edge to the Seahawks, but I also say the Rams use 13 personnel. The offensive line, with the Rams getting back Kevin Dotson and the fact that he knows how to block the way that he does in the run game, gap duo. The knock on the offensive line, though, is they did not do a good job picking up the Bears blitzers. So that's something they need to definitely adjust for. And the Seahawks, they got a good starting offensive line. You got Cross, Zabel, Sandell, Bradford, Lucas. They're going to be the guys protecting Sam Darnold. I think this one is another one where you could say it's pretty close. I'll still give the Rams the advantage. Here's one where I'll give the Seahawks a big advantage. That's the defense. Defensive line, advantage Seahawks. Got to give it to them. Poona Ford's great, especially stopping the run. Kobe Turner's been really good this season, but Byron Murphy, Leonard Williams, they allow the Seahawks to not have to blitz. And these are 2 of the teams in the league that don't blitz a lot. When you don't blitz a lot and you still get pressure, that tells you have a really good defensive front. So this will be a big test for Avila, for Shellen, for Dotson. It's going to be a lot. The edge rushers, Jared Verse. I give the advantage Jared Verse and Byron Young. Inside linebackers, Nate Landman, solid, but I'll give the advantage to the Seahawks to Ernest Jones, and he's had a really good year. The defensive backs easily goes to the Seahawks with Devon Witherspoon and Nick Emanwari. You got Josh Joby, you got Tariq Woolen. I mean, that's Kobe Bryant, Julian Love. That's a really good unit there, so advantage them. Special teams, Seahawks, pretty close. Coaching, I give it to the Rams. So that's kind of the head-to-head there. I think the Rams have the offensive advantage. Defense goes to the Seahawks. So we're going to do a full mega preview tomorrow. All right, let's do some quick ones here. The Dodgers lineup. Yeah, yesterday Kyle Tucker had his introductory press conference, and they revealed that Tucker is going to be batting 3rd in the lineup, possibly 2nd. Just think about how wild this is. A team that just won back-to-back World Series added a all-star, silver slugger, even MVP caliber bat when he's right to their top 4. The Dodgers' top 4 is going to be a combination of Shohei Ohtani, the winner of the last 2 MVPs, 50-plus home runs, 100-plus RBIs. One of the best players in the history of the game is your leadoff hitter. Batting 2nd, Mookie Betts, if he gets back to being the hitter we've seen throughout his career, he can certainly stay there at number 2. But if it doesn't work out for Mookie Betts and they move him down the lineup, then you could have Will Smith, who's an all-star level catcher, who is a clutch hitter. We saw him hit the game-winning home run in the World Series. He could bat second. But your top 4, Shohei Ohtani, Mookie Betts, Kyle Tucker, and Freddie Freeman. That's the best 1 through 4 on paper in a lineup in the history of Major League Baseball. And that's for a team coming off a World Series. All right. Talk some more Dodgers tomorrow. We got Deeb in the comments. Stafford is inevitable. I like that. Kobe ranked. Okay. So I wanted to run through this. We got this ready to go, Rob?
Give me 1 second on that, D-Mac. 1 second.
Okay, cool. So, yeah, we'll stick on this because we've got every single Kobe that's going to be released this year. We can drop it tomorrow if you want to. We go to that UCLA big upset because we got some.
Yep. I got the. All right, we'll go UCLA. Got you.
Okay, cool. All right, so UCLA, they beat Purdue, number 4 ranked Purdue. It was the biggest win for Mick Cronin since, I want to say, even the 2021 Final Four run. They needed this in the worst way. If the Bruins lost, the season's over. I mean, you got some big matchups down the road. You can still play Michigan. You still can win the Big Ten tournament. But I can tell you that a lot of UCLA fans are done with Mick Cronin. And he needs to miraculously turn this season around. I was really impressed with Donovan Dent, who had 23 points and 13 assists, had his best game as a Bruin. The defense, the effort. But I want to say the Big Ten screwed UCLA to start the season. 5 of their first 7 games were on the road, and they come back from a Saturday matchup against Ohio State in Columbus and have to play a number 4 ranked Purdue team that was the favorites to win the national championship to start the season. So, look, it was electric at Pauley Pavilion. You had 11,000 fans. They stormed the court, which, hey, we're UCLA, man. Like, we're not storming the court against number 4 Purdue, but do you? But I will say that I'm willing to give Mick Cronin the rest of the season to figure it out. I'm willing to give Mick Cronin a shot to see if he can turn this around because he wants to be that guy in Westwood. He understands that if he doesn't hang a banner there, that it's going to go down as a failure. And it was a step in the right direction. And I think for Mick, the thing that hurts his teams is they struggle in the latter parts of the early parts of the season, only improve towards the end. And he definitely will have this team playing their best basketball towards the end. But what's that going to be for their seeding? Because you need those quad 1 wins. And that's where it was at. All right, we do the Kobe's ranked.
I still don't have that one. Let's do that tomorrow.
Okay, cool. Or we could just do it. Okay, you do it tomorrow. All right, sounds good. All right, but guys, that's going to do it for this episode of the LA Sports Report. My name is Doug McKain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMac_LA. If you're new to the show, subscribe. We're talking Lakers, Dodgers, all things LA sports all season long. Thank you so much. Give my man, Big Rob Dog, some love too. He's always rocking with us, as always. We'll see you guys tomorrow. We're doing a full special previewing the Rams and the Seahawks. We'll talk about the Lakers game, and hopefully that'll be the end of the drama. Count down the days. We're gonna have a counter up until when Jeanie Buss's 5-year contract for being the Lakers governor. When that's over, it's gonna be a beautiful day in LA. But that's gonna do it for the LA Sports Report. My name is Doug McKain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMac_LA. And if you haven't yet, guys, subscribe, hit the notification button, the like button for your LA sports teams. Because remember, there's a lot of really nice cities out there. There's a lot of big sports cities out there. But LA is the city of champions.